All right, folks, welcome to another episode. We're on episode 72. We got a million coming, so stay tuned. Uh,
A million. I don't know if I'm gonna live that
no,
long.
maybe 10,000. We'll
I
collect
don't
them all.
even. Yeah, you'll have a different
All right,
partner at that point.
we'll at least push 100. All right,
Yeah, 100. There you go. I'm in for 100.
let's do 100. All right, and so this one's another special one. Now, before we get started, just want to remind everyone: real estate is risky. You definitely want to get educated, surround yourself with professionals, act professionally, and you'll get paid like a professional, right, Scott?
Oh, and by the way, this is a this group that you're seeing today is a real estate investing group. So I don't know if you'd mentioned that. Yeah, you all
Oh
hang
yeah,
out.
that's what we do here.
Welcome.
Welcome. We do a bunch of real estate. It's called Zoomup. It's our meetup on Zoom.
See, this is what happens when you have a bunch of them in a row. You like just assume stuff, right? Like
Right.
you're not
Did I hit
assuming
record this
anybody's gonna
time?
see this for the first time, right?
Yep. All
Yeah.
right. So we are hitting record. All right. Cool. Oh, good. All right. Live show audience. Here we go. Okay. So after this, just go check out our playlist. We got a ton of others, and then we also got some upcoming events that we want you to check out because the idea of using real estate to take control of your finances and finally get out of the rat race. Yes, it's going to take years, but we have a proven system. We got a track record, and we bring in these stories to show you just what's happening. And so get back with the person that invited you here, and they can get you to an intro, to a house tour, or to a workshop. We got a couple of these coming up that you'll definitely want to see. They're invite only, not open to the public. So get those links.
Question. I got a question.
Okay, fire away.
How long you been doing real estate?
I've been in the real estate game for 10 years now.
Question.
Go for it.
What'd you do before that?
I was changing oil and tires
Where?
at Sears Tire Center
Uh-huh.
and at the Lube Shack, Jiffy Lube.
I'm gonna share a picture of you someday on this thing. It'll be
Okay,
fun.
I'll share a
All right.
picture of
So
you.
so you were doing Jiffy Lube, and now how long you been doing real estate now? How old were you when you were doing Jiffy Lube?
Okay, so when I got introduced to this group, I had just turned 22, and I was looking in the newspaper the for sale by owner ad because I was tired of living in my girlfriend's mom's basement. I just graduated college, had all this student loan debt. I was so pissed off. I was like, maybe I can find something in the newspaper. And I got introduced to this group. And less than a year later, I did a deal that replaced my yearly income. Um, you know, results not typical, some would say. Others would say, listen to these stories, and that is kind of typical.
Yeah.
So,
Some
you're
if
on,
you listen, if you're on these if you're watching any of these recordings, it
yeah,
sounds like it happens every day.
right.
Right.
But we,
So
we got a system, folks.
and that's exactly it, right? So you're now 32 years old, 10 years later, right? You got 265 acres down in Tennessee.
Right?
Your
That,
neighbors are three bears, some chickens, and a Sasquatch. So we're
exactly.
excited for you.
Yeah. Yeah, we're making some big moves. But yeah, I've been able to do all kinds of real estate too. And go check out more episodes. You'll see more in depth. Scott and I have some pretty awesome conversations going
And
on.
if you can't tell, I'm trying to get divorce papers created by him. He's like, man, I can't work with this guy anymore. All right. My name is Scott Rowe. I'm here in Chicagoland, and I've been doing this since '07. We have helped over 15,000 people all over the country. I have students in every state in the country that have started with us and are now growing with us. And today, man, if you want to get involved, you can see a property tour done in Utah every single week, Arizona every single week, Cincinnati, DC, Chicago, from students that we've helped. And that's why we're here. We're here to introduce you to a possibility of working with a group that we call family. And that's the best way to work together. So,
Yep, that's right. Real estate is risky. That's why I said you want to surround yourself with people that know what they're doing. When I first came to this organization, first guy I talked to was making more in a month than I was making in a year, and I immediately became coachable. And I think that's why it worked for me.
were you not
Speaking of
coachable before
coachable,
that?
I was not. No,
Really?
I was.
I want to go back in time and meet the non-coachable Michael because all I've known is a guy that could be coachable.
Well, now that's the mantra, right? That's why
Yeah, don't you
someone
have like a tattoo somewhere that says I'm coachable?
soy enseñable.
Yeah, got it.
Speaking of coachable,
Let's do this.
our guest today is incredibly coachable. I know he went down the traditional route, tried to achieve success that way, and had the rug pulled out from under him, so to speak, and has bounced back in quite a big way. And he's helped me help the Denver team as well as the St. Louis team really do a lot of real estate. And so I want to showcase today how impactful he's been, where he came from, why he was looking for change, why he decided to work with us, and what's been possible since. Scott, you want to add anything?
I would. This guy's awesome. I met him. I think I met him in this building first. Is where I first met him. He was hanging out, seeing what we're doing. Took this idea down to St. Louis and really helped us build that market down there, and then moved to, I guess, his dream home in Colorado. I don't know why anybody's dreaming about that, but okay. All right. So without further ado, please help welcome Rockstar with us, Mr. Tom Robinson.
Thank
Rockstar
you.
Robinson.
Thanks. Yeah, I grew up in St. Louis. I lived on a beautiful street, big brick homes. My parents bought it when I was 6 or 7, grew up there, and I really learned the power of real estate when my parents sold that house. So we'd lived there for 11 years, and they sold it, and after sales commissions and closing costs and what have you, they didn't make any money. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, you live in a house. Why would you make money in a house? I was 18, 19 at the time, and that made sense. But the house next door to mine was really rough. You guys know what I mean when I say a rough house?
Oh, I've seen him.
30 people living in it, kind of rough house.
That's a rough house.
Was there chicken wire separating sleeping bags?
It was, I didn't go inside. Rough house.
I've seen those. I've seen that when I was walking through houses.
That's rough.
That's rough.
Yeah, so I lived in, what I later discovered is I lived in a fringe neighborhood. So 1 block west of me, houses were 3 times the price of our house. 1 block to the east, they were 1/3 the price. And this was kind of a special block. And my big lesson was when someone came and bought the house next to the house that I grew up in and fixed it up and sold it. And they sold it for about $200,000 more than my parents sold our house for. And I went, well, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
And, you know, one of the things that's really important to me is community, is connection, is making friends, is supporting and empowering people. And so one of the things that I recognized, that I realized, is that when someone fixed up that house and sold it for $200,000 more than we sold our house for, they made everybody on the block a bunch of money.
Yeah.
So they fixed up that one house, and suddenly every house on the block was worth 100,000 plus more than it was before they did that. And I was like, that's really interesting. I want to learn how to do this. I want to learn how to do real estate investing. And the time I was in my early 20s, and I was like, well, I know I'll become a real estate agent, and then I'll learn real estate investing. And if there is anyone on here that's been a real estate agent or is a real estate agent, one thing that you know, and everyone else might not, is that RE/MAX does not teach real estate investing to its real estate agents.
RE/MAX is y'all gonna love us. Thank you.
Yeah, real estate. You know, real estate brokerages teach their real estate agents as much real estate investing as, you know, car lot teaches their car salesman real estate investing. It's just a sales job. So I was like, okay, well, that didn't work. But it was in 2006, late 2006. I was talking to another friend of mine who was a real estate agent. He said, you should buy this house. And I was like, well, I'm not really making any money. I don't know how that all works. And he's like, it's fine. I've got a guy. And so I called this guy, and this guy was like, well, how much money do you make? And I was like, not much. And he said, 50,000. And I said, 50,000? He's like, that's a good number. Filled out some paperwork, and I had a house. And I was like, oh, I bought a house without my own money and without my, well, not really my own credit. That's amazing. That's what they say on late night television. What I'd missed was you can buy property without your own money, without your own credit, but you have to have your own knowledge. You have to have your own relationships. I didn't have those things. So I did something that a lot of people did in 2006, 2007. And I bought a house with the idea that prices will go up forever. Then 2008 happened. You guys remember 2008?
And forever. And we met forever.
Right. So, yeah, so my first real estate investing, it was gambling, let's be honest, ended poorly, which is heartbreaking, you know, because I've seen real estate work. I've seen it make a difference for people. I was like, I really want to do this, but I you know, just kind of left a really sour taste in my mouth. And I'd gone to a couple of weekend boot camps, You guys know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Rah, rah, we're going to make billions of dollars. And then you walk out on Monday and go, what happened? And so I was pretty jaded about real estate investing when a good friend of mine called me and he was like, Tommy, we got to do real estate investing. And I was like, that doesn't work.
Do you go by Tommy?
No.
Oh, okay.
But some people call me that anyway. So he called me at a particularly interesting, he called me actually for a few months and he's like, real estate investing, it's gonna be so great. You got to do this. And I was like, like I said, I just had a bad taste in my mouth. Beyond that, he called me at a particularly interesting time because I had been working as a consultant in the.
Wait, so what happened in 2008? You didn't finish the story.
What
Oh,
happened to the deal?
2008, the house that I bought this cute little rental for $55,000 in end of 2006. And in end of 2008, I had a tenant that trashed the place and it needed about $20,000 worth of work.
It's a big party.
And if I put $20,000 into it, I could have then sold it for $9,000.
Oh,
So-
sorry to laugh.
So Wells Fargo was like, hey, bro, where's our mortgage payment? And I was like, here are the keys. And one of the things that I didn't
Wow.
know, you guys have you talked to a lot of people that do short sales and help people out of troubling situations. So I was ignorant, I was uninformed, I didn't know what I was doing. I was excited by the hype. And what I didn't know was that there were people that knew how, and as I now know how to do, there's a way to negotiate with the bank to stop a foreclosure and do a short sale. And I made a bad decision and my credit was going to get kicked in the teeth. And what I've since discovered is that could have been an 18-month problem instead of a 7 to 10 year problem. So at the time I was excited about real estate investing, but I didn't have a community. I didn't have mentors. I didn't have any training really. So if it hadn't been for my buddy's persistence, I wouldn't be doing real estate. Does that make sense?
Do
Yeah.
we know this buddy?
You do. Noah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He started here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, he called me. Now, when Noah called me, I had a great gig. I was working in the solar industry. I was making a bunch of money, and he was like, we got to do this thing. And I was like, I'm not doing that thing. And then there was a radical shift in the regulations, and so this pile of money that I was making in the solar industry evaporated. And I was in Chicago. I had just moved to Chicago. I was getting ready to get set up in Chicago. I moved into a temporary apartment. I was sleeping on an air mattress. And then all the money that was coming in to get properly established evaporated. And Noah called me again and he's like, real estate investing. And I'm like, I'm in a temporary rental sleeping on an air mattress. I don't think I can do. I should have done it a month ago when I had money. And fortunately, Noah was persistent enough. He got me on the phone with his mentor, Scott, a good friend of yours, Bob Tierney. And Noah's like my little brother. So when he's really hyped up and he's like, this is gonna be awesome, I'm like, yeah. And I talked to Bob Tierney, and what I found in my conversation with Bob was that, first of all, you can hear the same thing from different people, but you hear it from one person, not another person. You know what I mean? So Bob was like, it's a community of people. It's a group of people that care about each other, that support each other, that share experience. And I was like, Bob, I don't think that exists in the real estate investing world. And he's like, bro, I'm in it right now. So I came out sat in the room right behind you, Scott. There were more lights.
On.
More people.
Yeah.
More people. This was 5-6 years ago. And just my first experience there, I heard things that I'd never heard before that changed, it just kind of altered the way that I saw things. I've been an entrepreneur. I've started multiple businesses, sort of figured I had taxes worked out, and I heard things about taxes that I hadn't heard before. Actually, my first full day intensive, once a month, have an instructor come out and lead a training for a Saturday. Mine was with Mark Kohler, our tax and legal instructor. And I just spent the whole 8 hours going, are you kidding me? I studied business in school. I've started businesses. I thought I was a smart guy. And really spent that day kind of confronting the profundity of my ignorance. And I was like,
Being coachable.
Yeah. Like wake up, stupid. Thanks, Mark. So that was about 6 years ago. I was blown away. I was like, okay, I've met great people. I've learned stuff that already have altered the trajectory of my life. Let me keep coming back. And I started coming to study groups, and I, really dove into the education and, learned things about business that I'd never heard about before, learned things about the banking industry that I didn't know, learned.
So what was your first deal?
Well, the second one, and the
the
one with
I told you about
the one you did after.
I told you about my first deal. So since then, my wife and I have done about 25 renovations.
Nice.
I've acquired 23 rentals.
Nice.
And my favorite deal is the house that I'm in now, my dream house, Scott, in Denver. And it's my dream house, not necessarily because if I had hired an architect, this is the house I would have designed, but it's my dream house because we moved to Denver and started looking for a great deal. And we met the owners of a historic home, beautiful brick house, created a relationship with them. And they were in a situation where they had to move quickly. They were moving out of this historic home and into their dream house in the mountains. And with the negotiation skills that I learned through this group, we negotiated to buy this house for almost $250,000 below market. And it's a house that has a carriage house apartment. It has a 3-car garage with an apartment above that. It has a downstairs mother-in-law suite. So we bought a beautiful historic home already with a couple $100,000 of equity in it and 3 rental spaces on the property that pay for the house.
Nice.
Now, if something like a global pandemic happens and everything gets a little questionable, it's really nice to have a house that pays for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So this has been extraordinary. And then there's also the education that I've gotten has helped me make a real difference with my family. My sister bought a house a few months before I did, and she's about 10 blocks from me. And as soon as I got to Denver, I went over to her house, I sat down and went through our velocity banking training. And if you don't know what velocity banking is, learn velocity banking. So the banks are not teaching us how to pay them as little money as possible. Right? They want us to pay them as much as possible because they're a business. But after sitting down with my sister for about 45 minutes, we worked out how to have her house paid off in less than 8 years and save her $164,000 in mortgage interest.
Nice.
I haven't had to buy her a Christmas present since then.
So that's $160,000 in interest she won't be paying because of what you showed her from something you learned at one of the classes.
Yeah. Now,
well done.
We took that to another level about 1.5 years later. She now owes her house payment right now is like $212, and she lives in a $500,000 house. She owes almost nothing on it, so she'll actually have it paid off in less than 4 years instead of 7 something.
It's great.
Working.
It's incredible. It's incredible. I had a family member.
It's a tear in the fabric of the universe, if you know what he's talking about.
It's legal, it's moral, it's ethical.
Yeah, it's important.
Really the problem that I have with it is that nobody taught me that in my first 30 something years.
That's because we're all designed ignorantly. I mean, the whole education system is designed to keep people working till they're 65. There's no elite person that wants peasants to know this stuff.
Yep, we're turning peasants into kings and queens.
I want to talk about something that you brought up, and I want people that see this recording to understand this. So, Tommy, Hey, Tommy, when you bought that house, you bought it with $250,000 in equity. And what you have to understand is in real estate, I want to bring this up before you hear it in one of our trainings. The easiest way to become a millionaire in America isn't to earn or save it, it's to close it. So if you close 4 houses like that, congratulations, right after the closings, you're on your way to millionaire, right? If you had 20 houses with $50,000 in equity that you negotiated and then secured with a signature after closing, you became a millionaire on the closings. You didn't have to wait till you were later in life. So just a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the people that we bought this house from had a significant problem and needed someone to solve that problem, and they were willing to adjust what they needed to get financially for the house because the money isn't the only issue, right? So we were able to fund as quickly as they needed, give them space to move their stuff out afterward. Like we could handle things that they didn't know anybody else who could handle their problem. So there are lots, especially right now, man, there are lots and lots of people with real estate problems. And if you have the knowledge, if you have the community, if you have the resources to solve those problems, people will give you equity. Right?
So you have 23 STRs right now, short-term rentals?
Long-term.
Oh, long-term rentals.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right on. And how's that going?
One of the things it's fun and challenging, right? Like anything, there are challenges. It's fun because, you know, as I said at the beginning, community is really important to me and making a difference is really important to me. And we've been able to provide low-cost housing, high quality, low-cost housing. And, you know, we've been in a global pandemic. People have had their struggles. So there have been things to deal with, but because we set ourselves up well, because we learned from people who have done thousands of deals, we were able to set ourselves up so that if there's a massive global pandemic, for example, we're not losing any of our properties.
Right.
So it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Right. You don't have 23 properties that are break even every month, just cash flow, just making mortgage payments. That's not a pretty place to be.
No. Or can you imagine if we hadn't bought them well and we had bought 23 rentals that weren't making payments and then had like, hey, Michael, here are 23 mortgage payments for you to handle. Right. There. One of the things that I've seen is there are a lot of people.
I would be buying that. We'd be buying that, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Michael,
like, you'd become a distressed seller that we'd be targeting.
Yeah, I was talking to a guy a couple weeks ago who hadn't heard about our community, who hadn't heard about our education, who's making a bunch of money and keeps hearing about people doing real estate deals. And he's like, well, I've got great money. I've got great credit. I'll just go. And he bought like a 72 unit apartment building in a different state from him without a community there, without the education. And so far it's cost him $300,000.
Somebody made money in that deal.
Oh yeah. Just not him.
Just not.
Yeah. So it's so critical. First of all, if you're interested in doing deals, if you're looking at doing fix and flips, if you're looking at renovating, if you're looking at acquiring rentals, it's so critical to have the education to be able to do that well. And then if you have a lot of money, get the education so you can manage it appropriately and not lose 300 grand. If you don't have the money, then the community is amazing because there are people that have the resources that aren't going out and knocking on doors. So there's an opportunity. There's just such a fusion, you know, in this community of time, talent, resources, all the things that need to go into a real estate deal. You don't have to have all of them. So there's a place for anybody who's committed and willing to do the work to plug in.
I got one last question. Sorry.
Yeah.
What did it feel like to get your first check, knowing when you started implementing what you were learning? Right, you were in that apartment on the air mattress, but then you started.
Here's a good question: Were you
learning.
still on the air mattress when you did your first deal?
I was off the air mattress.
Okay. All right. So start to finish, you meet Bobby.
Yeah.
Right. You're down here at the building. You saw it all. You're like,
Yeah.
wow. You went to that workshop. Like, holy crap. Between that and the first deal, how much time?
4 months.
Nice. That is, You know what, Michael? That is a theme here. It's typical on these
That's
recordings,
pretty
right?
cool.
3
Yeah, man.
months. I mean, you were slow. Well, it
I-
took you like 12, 11 months, didn't it?
It was 9 months. It was a short sale though, so I
9
started on
months.
it.
That's
I
definitely
started on it within 3 months.
yeah. Okay.
It took 6 months to transact.
And I'm saying that because that's
But yeah.
that the short sales take long. I've seen 20 month short sales. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it worked.
absolutely. Well, it doesn't always work, but if you're going to have success, then you're going to learn how to do it, and you're going to play the law of averages. That's what you got to do, and you're going to be smarter about it, right? I mean, you're not. Here's what results will. Here's what the results. Here's why Tom has results. He has results because his effort. You have to put effort into it, right? His skill sets change because he learned things and were connected to people that could give him an answer like that, right? And his attitude about it, right? Effort, skill, and attitude were like, all right, I see it, I see the vision, but I'm not stopping. Like there's nothing getting in my way from getting this stuff done. And that's the 3 components to what these people on these recordings are actually living in. They're living in it.
We have dozens and dozens now. Scott wouldn't let me say dozens and dozens earlier. Only a dozen.
Because we didn't have dozens and dozens. Now we do.
But now we have dozens and dozens.
We got like 6 dozen now. He's
This has
talking
been
about
awesome.
recordings, Tommy.
Yeah, man. This has been awesome. And so
Well, I've been doing this for 6 years. I mean, it's brilliant to see people over and over and over again. People join our community and make things happen.
Hey, I got
Yeah.
a question for you. If we should do who would you suggest we do a recording with next? Do you know anybody in the community that should be on one of these?
I am not sufficiently familiar with the list of people who have.
Okay. You don't have anybody in like Colorado you're hanging out with, or any of your buddies? Like maybe you're partnered up on deals with somebody. Hey, I'm a partner up with this guy. Get him on.
Yeah, have you guys had Alex on? Alex Wojcik?
yeah, about 2 weeks ago.
Of course.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Yeah, I had him on a Friday.
Oh, I wasn't here. I take Fridays off, Tom. I don't work on Fridays. I'm about to make it a 3-day event, 3-day week.
I'll go look at the list and I'll send you some
Yeah, send us some names, man. We want to get them on here. So let's keep the love
Cool.
going.
Yeah, but that's, you mentioned this earlier, but I got connected with you, Scott, in the room right behind you, and but I'm from St. Louis,
Yeah.
so we didn't have a community in St. Louis. I helped to build a group there, and we've got people slaughtering their debt and getting into real estate and really expanding themselves as human beings, growing and developing. And when I moved from Chicago to Denver, because right now it's 65 degrees and sunny in Denver.
Denver?
Scott. Is it
In
65
Colorado?
in Chicago right now?
In Colorado, it's that?
Yeah, 65 sunny.
Aren't you on the same like latitude I am?
I was just out walking my dog before this in this t-shirt.
Listen, I do not want to live in Illinois. Don't get me wrong. If it was my choice, I would be in Florida. It is not my choice. It is my wife's choice.
That's fair. I moved out here because my sister had a daughter. So I moved out here to be close to my family and my new niece. And when I got here, I was immediately able to plug in with a great group of, high achieving people with great attitudes, that this group in Denver that Michael really helped create and grow and expand. And I got to participate with that. And, I've made a bunch of great friends just participating with this community.
We demand excellence.
Yeah. It's a great
Man.
environment to be in.
Yeah. Push you all the time. Great work, man. 23 doors now. Continuing to do more. The future.
Well,
looks
I got a
bright.
question. Can I ask a question?
Go for it.
The great thing about these Zoom ups is we've actually gotten better at it, right?
Is that right?
The information we're trying to extract from people has gotten much better. We should go back to like episode 1 and say, hey, we want to apologize. Our first Zoom up was terrible. So, all right. So so you're in Colorado. Are there any folks that you're maybe doing deals with or partnered up with from different states?
Yeah, I've got investor partners in Colorado, Illinois, and Missouri.
Okay, there you go. And that's I'm trying to get across to you. The community is, yes, we are not in one location anymore. I mean, this was an idea that is now a dinosaur, right? We're so connected through technology today that, if you're in a state, you're like, well, I'm in Alaska. Fantastic. Let's do some deals. Because the community we got guys in Hawaii. You got Anthony Mallet. I don't know if I don't see him on today, but he's in Ireland. So I love this because we have managed to look at our situations on a daily basis, enhance what we do as a group, right? Like it's huge mastermind. There's so much genius in this group I'm lucky to be here for sure.
Right. It's that iron sharpens iron, toss the ideas around, mastermind continuing to show up. It's not just a one weekend boot camp. We've all tried the one weekend boot camp thingy.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't
Yeah,
work.
I did it.
This is a
I went.
career.
It was a dog and pony show. I'm in sales, so you know when you see what they're doing in front of the room, you're like, oh my god, it sucks.
Yeah.
We've only got 3 spots. First
That's
people,
it.
3 people in the back.
Dude, I got a story about that. I got my ticket to a recent. But he's like, I want to look at Michael. He wants to get to his feeding his chickens out there. So
We just told Tom it was 10 minutes, but here we are. It's all good though.
bro, he went long. He's the guy who dragged it on. All right, here we go.
Go ask your question.
I didn't have a question. I had a story. So let's.
Oh, go for it. Tell your story.
All right, here's my story. Quick. So I go to this group. I'm not going to name it, but I'm driving. So I'm broke. I'm unemployed. I'm driving down the road, and I hear, "Join us at this real estate thing. 3 days traveling in." And like, first 10 people that call in get a free ticket. Otherwise, it's $500. Right. Right. So I'm like, I'm like dialing and driving, trying to get this free ticket. And I go to the event, right? And I'm gloating a little bit in the event. I'm like, dude, got this ticket for free. I'm talking to the guy next to me. He goes, I got a free ticket too. The guy next to him's got a free ticket. The guy in front of us got a free ticket. And then before the event even started, I'm like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. So that was my experience at the 3-day boot camp.
So you were unemployed and now you got how many transactions?
You talking to
been a
me?
part of?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Over 100, dude. Over, yeah.
Over
We're
100.
sitting on 79 rentals right now. We bought 79 properties in 08 for $1.5 million. It was great. That I didn't have.
Right? Because you were unemployed.
Well, yeah, I didn't need to be employed. I have not been employed since I joined this group. How's this sound?
I guess you're still unemployed. Yeah.
I'm unemployable.
Totally.
You can't. My time is worth way too much. In fact, you're lucky I'm here.
Yep. Aren't we all?
Feeling lucky.
Oh, all right, folks. This is why we said bring a friend. You're lucky we're here.
Oh, this is getting better. See, no, I'm not. I might keep going after 100. It's getting funner. What I'm talking about, right?
So you guys have gotten better at hosting these. Is that right?
This is good stuff, man.
I don't know if we've gotten better. We've definitely gotten funner. How's
Funner?
that?
Yeah.
Maybe we're on like a helium high. I don't know. It's like we're in this party too long.
All right, good. So if you're watching and you haven't been to property tours and intensives, whoever invited you to this, get back with them.
Yeah, thanks, Tom.
me for. Look at Tom go.
Many of our events are a lot more directed and content filled.
You're gonna love them.
And a lot
But
of
you
them are
gotta come to
fun.
one. This isn't it. You gotta come to one, or at
Yeah,
least schedule a strategy session with someone so you can see behind the curtain how it all works.
How does it work?
We're an open book. You just gotta show up.
This is definitely our longest one, and yeah.
Yep.
But Tom was good.
Great
That
one.
happens when I show up.
This is my favorite one so far,
Yeah. This is
and
good.
I don't like long ones.
Do
All right,
you guys
stick
sing a
around.
song to wrap it up, or what? How do we finish this?
We got some bonus questions.
You do like row your boat in 3 different.
Just be merrily.
I've-
Don't worry about it. Just be
down the
merry.
stream. All right.
Okay.
Well,
around.
listen. If you're still here on this recording, get back in touch with the person who invited you. You should see an introduction, like we all saw. I saw an intro first. I don't know what
saw
did
an
you see,
intro.
Michael.
I came to an intro.
Tom saw an intro. Mike saw an intro. I saw an intro. But you can also see a property tour. We got deals being done by students that you could see. And you can get to an intensive, which we have monthly, where we feature instruction, like Tom went to that tax intensive and blew him away. So
March 5th.
We got stuff that you should see to really see how good this is. This is just about Tom today, mostly, but we got some stuff that'll actually, you'll take notes at, you'll take pictures of screens at, and it'll be good for your future.
Stay coachable. That's the theme.
All right. And we got bonus questions. So the people on the line, stick around. We got 2 bonus questions we all ask. If you heard that on a recording, you might want to get to one of our live ones to see the bonus questions.
Okay. Keep playing the game. Keep kicking butt. Thank you, Tom, for being here.
High five, Tom.
High five. Appreciate your time, your energy, your support to everyone that you've influenced. And let's take it to the top, my friend.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Tommy.